Excuse me. I decided to hop up. It's a Saturday night. I figured it's a good time. I had some free time here. I'm actually a little bit ahead with my content. So tomorrow night I'll be dropping my video on the history of dreams from ancient to modern times. Oh, hold on one second. My girl is calling. I gotta answer this. Can I pause this? Hmm. Hold on one second. Okay, I think we're back. Are we back? Are we good? Let me see. Yeah, I don't know if I messed it up. Let me know if you guys could see this. Let me know if we're good. Ali Jesse, what's up? All right, I'm going to overlay these comments so everyone can see them on screen. Okay, we're good. Looking good. How's everyone doing tonight? I figured I'd hop up. I never finished answering all the dream questions from. Yeah, what up? Ali Jesse, what's good? Where you at? Where you from? As you guys tune in, let me know where you're from, where you're at, how you're feeling. I want to go through some of the questions that we didn't get to last week since we got overlaid with so many comments and so many conversations. I think it just got carried away. So I wanted to go through some of those questions, talk about some of the projects I have coming up. Tomorrow night at 8 p.m., I'll be dropping my video on the history of dreams from ancient to modern times. And that's going to be a good deep dive pretty much on things that we've covered in the past. But it's a more structured, cleaner format for all of that. Hopefully it'll be a little bit of a better video than the live session that we had. Besides that, I just wanted to give a heads up on some of the other things I'm going to be dropping soon. I do finally have the ebook done. So I finished that book about, oh, what up, Jesse? Yeah, Ali Jesse. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm chilling. It's a beautiful Saturday night. I didn't really plan on jumping up here, but I had some free time, so I figured I'd just do it. So my ebook is done. It's all about how to effectively remember your dreams and lucid dream and influence your dreams for anybody. And it's the best guide that I have so far. on how you can effectively learn to start remembering your dreams and how to use a dream journal more effectively. And that's a free ebook I'll give out to anyone. If anyone wants it, you could just email me the word dream at dkdreamkeeper1@gmail.com. That's dkdreamkeeper1@gmail.com. I will, who anybody that emails me over there, I'll send you a free downloadable copy of the ebook that I just finished. So I'm really excited about that. And then tomorrow night at 8, the video about the history of dreams will be dropping. It's a really comprehensive deep dive on the overall history of dreams and how they've affected our society and how they can affect the psychology of society collectively, things like that. So definitely check out that video tomorrow night. It should be up on my YouTube channel as a premiere video. So subscribe, definitely hit that notification bell, and that should be interesting. So besides that, the next video I'm going to be working on is going to be about the spirit and the essence of the mythology surrounding the human spirit. I've been connecting some pretty clear dots that I don't think most people acknowledge consciously or realize when it comes to the human spirit. What I've realized is that what most people call spirit was inspired from air, the air around us. And I have a bunch of references, a bunch of sources I'm going to cite, and a pretty strong argument to make for that. So I'm excited. Honestly, I think it's going to surprise some of you guys how many connections there are between spirits and air, because ancient people weren't aware that air is particulate matter. So, but I'm going to save some of that. You're going to see that's going to be the next video. But once I get through that, I really just wanted to get through that because that's something interesting that I noticed in my research. Honestly, I wanted to do a video on the history of Yahweh and the actual archaeological and historical history behind the concept of the one true God. So in my research on that and in my other research for the history of angels and demons, I've been coming across a lot of different translations of ancient texts that show how the word breath and air are used sometimes interchangeably with spirit. So that's what the next video is going to be about, even though that's kind of off the path that we wanted to take. After that, I'm going to get back on track, back on course, and we're going to talk about the ancient history of symbolism. So I'm going to go through the psychology of symbolism and how our brains are affected by different symbols and shapes around us, individually and collectively. And then I'm going to go through the history of symbols, and I'll break down. I think I'm going to go through probably more than 100 different symbols and break down their meaning historically. And I'm not just going to say what the common understanding for that symbol is. I'm going to attempt to explain exactly where that symbolism comes from, what it's inspired by, and some of the mechanics behind it psychologically. So definitely stay tuned for that symbolism video. That should be an interesting one. Hassan Malik, no, I'm definitely not a Christian. I appreciate the Christian doctrine in general. And the funny thing is, actually, I was with my girl. I've been with my girl for 10 years now. And for the first couple years we were together, she actually thought that I was a Christian because I would have different, honestly, she's not like, she doesn't really understand the deep complexities of any of this stuff, and she's not really into any of this stuff. But I reference the Bible a lot. I've studied it quite a bit, and I appreciate a lot of it. But definitely not a Christian, not by any means. And I definitely believe that although a lot of the biblical stories are based on a lot of deep truths, they've definitely been manufactured from other more ancient mythologies, and I consider myself an agnostic theist. So if there is a type of God that I believe in, it would be more like Spinoza's God or Einstein's God. Einstein said he believed in Spinoza's God. And this is more of a nebulous concept of just the infinite, eternal, ever changing universe and cosmos. That would be my description of God, because it's omnipresent, it's all powerful, it's the ultimate creator of everything, and it's eternal. It transcends time. And that just describes the universe, in my opinion. And I don't believe it's a anthropomorphized conscious agent. So atheists tell me that I'm a theist. Theists tell me that I'm an atheist. I consider myself an agnostic theist. So, a lot of the terminology can get a little complicated and mixed up, but people, you could call me what I want, but call me what you want, but I don't, even if, I can make a strong argument for a God. I really could. And honestly, I spend a lot of my spare time listening to debates, religious debates between atheists and Christians, or Christians versus Muslims, or Mormons versus atheists, or whatever, or panpsychists versus Catholics, whatever. I love listening to the debates, and I appreciate the conversation, and I'm fascinated with the theology and the mythology. But again, I can make a strong argument for the existence of a God. But even if, and for a long time, I was completely agnostic, meaning I took the position that I don't know, that I believe there might be something, but I don't know what it is. Now I'm fully confident, especially in the last 8 to 10 years, with all of my studies on all of these things. I'm completely confident that there's likely a God, in the sense that there's an eternal, omnipresent creator, which I believe is the universe of the cosmos. And I'm also completely confident that the Christian God cannot possibly be the truth. And the stories of the Bible are absolutely 100% false. And I'm sorry, but I'd be willing to debate anybody on that. And I've actually attempted. Oh, I'm not trying to hide that comment. Sorry, I just clicked on it. I've actually attempted to debate some Christians on this, but I feel like I don't have enough of a following for anyone to really care enough to come up here and debate me. And at least the people that are popular enough and confident enough that would debate me probably have too much of a following to even consider me worth it. And the ones that don't have any type of social media following probably aren't confident enough to debate me on these topics. And I'd definitely be willing to get into it with anyone. And I get into these small debates in the comments section, but that's just so time consuming and tedious. And that's one of the main reasons why I make videos and I go live, because I just got so tired of typing things out in comment sections and in written posts trying to explain things. This is the easiest way for me to clearly explain things in real time and put my thoughts out there. So I don't want to be missing any comments. You know what? I got to take some time to share this out over on Facebook. It's a Saturday night. It's only 9 o'clock. So I think it's okay if I bother some people and send this to them through Messenger and let them know that I'm live. Especially everybody over on Facebook. I should probably hit them up. Hassan Malik, are you a Christian? I'm curious. Like I said, I've spent since I've been like 15, 16 years old, I've been debating with Christians. I studied the Bible early on because, I mean, the fact of the matter is, if it is true, it would be really, really important to know it. But I'm confident now that it's not true. And a lot of people ask me, like, they think I have such a hard position on it because sometimes I'm getting in these debates in the comments section, and it's like they tell me that I'm in such denial that no matter what evidence they present to me, I won't believe it. The thing is that, and they ask me, what evidence would it take for me to accept the God of Christianity? And at this point, and we've all heard the common phrase, like if it were written in the stars, or if a comet collided with the moon and burst a bunch of particles in the sky that wrote out, Jesus Christ is God or something. Even if that were to happen, I still wouldn't believe that the God of the Bible is the real God. That wouldn't even do it for me, because obviously, it could be an illusion. It could be some sort of trick. That sure as hell doesn't prove all of the claims in the Bible. The only way that I could ever be convinced that the Christian God is true is if somehow every Bible went back and got changed all of a sudden, and all of the contradictions got removed, and all of the moral inconsistencies got removed, because there is no way to rectify all of the trouble in the Bible without without doing some sort of twisting of logic. And these are the faculties that I've been given from your God or from the universe to analyze these things. If there's any way to determine what's true, I have to trust my personal faculties, and as I understand them, and the logical methods that we use as human beings to come to common understandings. And you can't possibly do that and still believe in the God of Christianity. Oh, what up, relevant tourist? What's good? What's good? Good to see you in here. I'm glad you caught me up here. How are you? I didn't announce that I was going to be going live, so this was kind of just a surprise pop-up because I had some spare time here. I was working. I mean, my girl's busy right now, so that's what gave me some spare time. That doesn't usually happen on Saturday nights. The kids are settled. Baby girl is in there watching TV. The boys are upstairs, probably playing their video games. So I figured I'd just hop up here. I was working on my ebook about dreaming, and I got in that flow state where I was able to just, I mean, I've been working on this book for the last 2 years probably. I mean, really, it's been an accumulation of the lifetime of information that I've gained. But for 2 years, I've been actively working on this book about dreaming, and it's just a really straightforward guide, basically, on how to start remembering your dreams right away, and then how to induce lucid dreams for anybody, the most effective ways, and how to use a dream journal. But I got in that flow state today, and I was able to pretty much finish the book. I have the entire ebook finished, and all I have to do is add some of my sources in at the end in case people are interested in learning more about some of the things I talked about in it. But yeah, the ebook is done. So I was going to be sitting here working on that, but since I basically finished it, I figured I'd take some time just to hop up and let everyone know that that's done. And anybody who wants a copy of that ebook, you can email me at dkdreamkeeper1@gmail.com. dkdreamkeeper1@gmail.com. Email me, just say book or dream book or whatever, and I will send you a download of that free ebook. And this is a way. Ooh, this is a way for me to just kind of help a lot of the common people out there. I get a lot of after I've been posting content like this for just over 2 years now. I've noticed that I get, and even throughout my life, even before I started posting online, I've noticed that I get a lot of the same questions from people. And instead of repeating myself over and over, I mean, I will keep repeating myself over and over. I don't mind because I understand, but I wanted to just put together an easy book that I could send to anyone, that someone could read in one night pretty quickly. Should only take about an hour at the most for someone to read through this. It's not it doesn't get into any of the deeper philosophical concepts of dreaming. It is literally just a straightforward guide on proven methods to help you start remembering your dreams and to influence your dreams in a direction that you might like, and to wake up and become lucid in your dreams. That's all it focuses on. So I'm really excited to put that out. I just wanted, like, it's the easiest way for me to get all this information out to people without, a lot of times people, you can ask me and I might take an hour trying to explain something, or I could direct someone towards one of the videos that I have from the past. But uh this is, and a lot of times people don't click on links and don't go and watch the videos, and if they do, they don't watch the full video. So I just figured it'd be easy to give everyone a free ebook. You could download it right on your phone, you can read it anytime, and you can always reference back to it. And I'll also have a study guide to go along with that ebook. I'll be finishing that up soon. And yeah, completely free for everyone. I've spent quite a few hours working on this. Many, many hours. I mean, a lifetime of research has gone into this book, and I spent quite a few hours just putting all these concepts together in a comprehensible format for everyone into this book. What up, Cliff? How you doing, homie? Long time no see, man. You said body turquoise yoga pose. Yeah. Yeah, man. That's what's up. I don't know what you're talking about, but I appreciate it. Uh, I would really like to get into doing some yoga with my girl. Um, I have gotten back into my amped up workout routine because we got summer now, and the kids are going to be out of school. The pool is going to be opening up soon, and I'm definitely going to be trying to get back in the best shape that I can. Hold on. My sister's calling me. I'm going to answer this. I don't know what's going to happen when I answer this. You know what? Actually, I'm not going to answer that. I'm going to deny that, and I will send her a message right now. Yeah, I didn't share this out to anybody. I should probably do that. Oh, I just sent her a message in all caps. That's probably not good. What did she say? Reconnecting? Okay, we're back. Yeah, thank you, sister. I saw the message you sent. Yes. Yes, I'm live right now and I can only see certain comments. I can only see the comments from YouTube. The software that I'm using lets me go live on YouTube and Facebook at the same time from one device. But YouTube allows the comments to be shown in real time on screen. Facebook does not allow that. So I have to open up the Facebook video over here on Facebook and look at the comments there. And then the videos or the comments that will pop up here on the video are only the ones from YouTube, because YouTube allows it, Facebook does not. So, but thank you, sister. Now I'll keep my eyes on the Facebook comments too. What's up, Dad? You said you're Christian. Yeah, like I said, I've always had a deep appreciation for the Christian perspective. I will be putting out a video on the history of Yahweh, and that puts a lot of the concepts from Christianity into perspective from a more ancient historical lens. There's an ant crawling on my mic cord right now. Oh, Cliff, you said YouTube emoji. Okay. Okay, maybe it doesn't show the emojis in the comment section. That's cool though. That's cool. Beautiful. What's up, Dad? What's up, sister? What up, Cliff? How's everyone doing? I tomorrow night at 8 p.m. my video on the history of dreams is going to be dropping. I'm excited for that. It's a more high quality deep dive on the ancient history of dreams. So it's already uploaded to YouTube. I just have it scheduled to get posted tomorrow night. So you guys should be able to go to my YouTube page and check out the the link to that. It should let you click on it, and then it'll notify you once that video drops. I'm excited for that one. And once I post that video on the history of dreams in the comments section, I'm gonna have a clickable link to download that ebook I've been talking about. So again, anyone who's interested, just email me at dkdreamkeeper1@gmail.com, and I will send that ebook over for free to whoever wants it. So once I drop this video on spirit and air and the history of Yahweh, because Yahweh is an air god. He was an elemental anthropomorphic figure. So what we understand in our modern culture from this perspective as the one true God from the Bible was actually based on air. They thought that they thought that spirit was air, and I started really getting into this just from looking up the etymology of the word spirit. And the word spirit comes from the words air and breath. So ancient people didn't know what air was. To them, this is just empty space, but they know that it keeps us alive. It's within us. It's all around us. And when you take your last breath, you die. So they know if you lose air, then you die. So air is what keeps us alive. So this is the ultimate life force. It's everywhere. You can't see it, but it is everywhere. It precedes time. When you look up in the air, as far as we can tell, the air, or from the ancient people's perspective, the air seemed to be holding up the heavens and the firmament and the stars. And if air creates water out of nothing, out of thin air comes the water, from the ancient people's perspective, and lightning and thunder. And this is where the concept of Yahweh, an omnipresent God, comes from, actually. And this is where the word spirit comes from. And this is where the concept of a human spirit comes from. It comes from air and breath. And ancient people didn't know that air was particulate matter. So, that's gonna be my next video. So, because that truly is the roots of the Yahweh God. Even no scholars can agree, or every scholar I've heard comment on this, they all say that we don't know how to pronounce the word Yahweh. The pronunciation of that ancient language and that word is completely lost. The ancient people were only allowed to utter the name once a year in their festivals. And once that tradition died out, basically the pronunciation for how you will pronounce Yahweh got lost. That's why Yahweh is Jehovah. It's these Jehovah Witnesses, they kind of have their own understanding of it. But a lot of scholars say, and I've heard just, four or five, actually five different top scholars on ancient Near Eastern languages say that Yahweh is supposed to be like an onomatopoeia for how our breath sounds. Yahweh is supposed to be basically the spelling of what it sounds like when we breathe. Yes, sister, I can see your comments. You said, "How can I watch you live on YouTube?" Just go to my YouTube page. Check out DK Dreamkeeper on YouTube. If you type that in, go to my page. It should be at the top there. I'm not sure. Goo Pinder, you said, "Sir, do you think someday we can meet and make Hamburger Helper together?" Goo Pinder, anything is possible. And I don't know who you are or what your circumstances are. It's definitely possible, but I would say highly, highly unlikely. I'm not really too much into Hamburger Helper. There's probably 1,000 other things I'd rather cook before I cook Hamburger Helper, but you never know. I mean, I'm not completely against it. But yeah, sister, go to my YouTube page. I'm not sure. I'm here now. I hope it's not posted as private. Nah, it should be good. Yeah, check out my YouTube page. Maybe I could even share the. Oh, that might. Sorry if there's an echo. Maybe I could share the YouTube video in the Facebook comments. I'm gonna try to do that now. Respect to you, brother. Respect to you. Thank you. Thank you, Goopinder. Uh, yeah, yo, I love food. I love food. That is what has kept me and my girl happy all these years. We love to eat. We love food. There's actually a new barbecue place that opened up down the road. I'm excited for that. Sister, you said let me know when you have your book. Instead of making it free, you should let people pay a little bit for it. I appreciate that, sister, and I understand where you're coming from, but believe me, this is I mean, as much as I say, I'm just trying to help people and I want to put this out to provide valuable content and make it as accessible and as easy as possible to help as many people as possible. That is the true foundation for why I'm giving it out for free. But there's also some marketing and some strategic planning behind that. And I mean, I could explain it. I got nothing to hide, really. Uh, One of the best things, you know, besides spending all my time researching for my videos and watching religious debates, if I'm not doing that, then I'm watching or listening to educational videos about marketing and social media growth and things like that. Literally, like I don't consume any content online except informational content about ancient history, symbolism, or Facebook and YouTube marketing strategies and stuff like that, and how to grow through video content, stuff like that. So, although even though my numbers might not show it online, I do know, and it's not what I'm really interested in, but it's a part of what I'm trying to do. So I'm forcing myself to learn it. I do know quite a bit about online marketing and social media growth and YouTube strategies and stuff like that. So, sister, the reason I'm giving this ebook out for free mainly is because I want to collect people's emails so I have a way to connect with people and reach people that's not dictated by any of these social media platforms. Uh, and I've heard endless stories. I hear at least once or twice a week about someone who had their YouTube page shut down, and that was their main that was their main platform that they used to reach their customers or their fan base, and something stupid happens. Sometimes it has nothing to do with what these people did. Sometimes the AI, like the algorithm, makes a mistake. It could put strikes on your channel and you can lose your channel, sometimes temporarily, sometimes permanently, sometimes through a simple mistake, and sometimes through no mistake of your own at all. Sometimes it just happens, something was interpreted the wrong way or whatever. So one of the best things to do for that, instead of having all of my eggs in one basket or in these volatile baskets, because and again, like TikTok could get shut down. We all saw how, although it didn't happen, and I don't think it ever will happen. It's possible TikTok could get shut down overnight. and then I would lose access to all those people. I would have no way to reach the people that watch me on TikTok. What up, man? Yes, I'm live. You gonna make popcorn? Cookies? Give me like 20 minutes, please. Yeah, you could say hi, but you're gonna have to squeeze in here. All right, make it quick. Hi. I love you. That's Elijah. Grandpa Wally's watching, and your auntie Carly's watching. Grandpa Wally's watching. I think so. Yeah, I hope they heard that. Yeah, Grandma Shirley might even be watching. I don't know, and actually Momo might be watching too. I don't know. So yeah. Hello. Goodbye. Yeah. So no, you can take a little bit, and then I don't want you. You could eat like 3, but you'll get sick if you eat too much because that's raw cookie dough, man. Yeah, so I'm giving out the ebook for free because it's an effective way for me to get people's emails so that I can reach them outside of platforms, that. And honestly, anytime I've read some ebooks, I've watched, like I said, I watched a lot of videos on social media marketing, and they all recommend building an email list. It's like one of the first things you should do when you start an online business, and everybody says that. And people who don't know, like a lot of times I'll see it in the comments section, people who don't know will say like that never works. They'll say like, oh, I never open an email when it comes from someone, like, or email's dead, like that's antiquated, that's old, whatever. All of these creators who use email lists, they can show and prove their numbers, and they can show how effective an email list is. Once I build an actual list of people that are interested in my content, then even if and the thing is, it never goes away. Most people keep their emails for long periods of time, even if their social media sites get shut down or whatever. If they get put in Facebook jail, whatever, I could still reach people. And I don't want to just take people's emails for no reason, so I would like to provide them with something. And this ebook is probably the most general, the most generic, and the easiest one that could reach the broadest, the widest range of people. So I think it's something good, and it's valuable. So people, hopefully they'll be more willing to email me and let me add their email to my email list if I'm actually giving them something of value. And then I can also follow up with people, and making it free just means that hopefully more people, that'll just make it more accessible, so that'll build my email list with more people faster, more effectively. And hopefully if some people actually read the book and implement some of the strategies in the book, then I'll get more case studies, and I'll have more people. Hopefully I can get more feedback, and people can tell me whether or not it worked for them or how it worked, and if it worked well for them, and if they got good results from that book, then I can use those people. I can use their comments or their messages or their reviews, or I could potentially even interview them about their experiences and their successes from that ebook. So making it free will give more chances for more people, for that to happen with more people. And that'll help build some of my credibility here online. I can use those comments and those messages and reference them in other videos and stuff, and show people like this really works. These strategies actually work. And then there's always more. I mean, learning to remember your dreams and learning to go lucid in your dreams, that's just the beginning. So, and hopefully that can hook people, and that'll get them more interested. And I'm 100% confident that anybody who reads that ebook and implements those strategies will get good results from it. And then I have courses I'm going to be working on that I'm going to put out, and they're going to be paid courses. And the ebook is just kind of like the beginning to that. That's where it's all going to start. But I'm going to be putting out videos about symbolism, and it's gonna be a long video. I'll probably split it up into 4 different sections, and it's gonna really get detailed. I'll probably, like, the first video is gonna be every video is gonna be about an hour. The first video is just gonna be on the history of symbols, and I'm gonna go through probably over 100 different symbols and explain their meanings. But then the next 3 videos are gonna be much more detailed, intricate deep dives to help people really understand these symbols and the psychology of symbols. The whole idea here is that I'm going to put out the first part of these videos on YouTube, and I'm going to share them. And then the next, like, 3 videos for the series I'm going to ask people to sign up for my course on ancient symbolism for that. And this is going to be a more high ticket item. I'm thinking, I don't know. I haven't decided the price yet. It depends on exactly how much content I could pack into there, and how confident I feel like I can, or how valuable I feel like I can make it. But I'm going to put out these videos on symbolism. I'm going to put out a video on the psychology of symbolism, plus the ancient history of symbolism. Those are going to be 2 different courses that people are going to sign up for. I'm going to put out downloadable worksheets and information sheets to go along with these videos. So, like with the angels and demons video that I posted not too long ago, in the description, or I think it's in the comment section on YouTube, I posted a long, comprehensive list of every character that's mentioned in the video with their relational cross-reference too. So there's characters that relate to other characters that kind of transform into other characters, or share common characteristics with other characters throughout history. And as I went through all those characters in the Angels and Demons video, I acknowledged that in the video, but then when I made the list of all of the characters, I have in brackets next to each character all of the commonalities that it shares with other characters and where they came from. And it's a really good, just like a good checklist, a good informational checklist to go along with that video. I've a couple people actually hit me up and asked me about that list of angels and demons, and someone asked me to send it to them, to email it to them. So I did that, and I figured that's something that I can do with the upcoming videos. I can make these things available. So, I'll do a short introduction video to the ancient history of symbolism, and then I'll tell people, if they're interested, what kind of questions do I ask? I ask every question, USA Gamer. I ask every question. I'm interested in asking all of the most fundamental questions of life and reality and existence. And if you were to dig back into most of the content, especially most of these live sessions, those are usually the topics that we address the most fundamental questions of reality. That's what fascinates me the most. Nature is magical, and for every answer to a question, you end up getting more questions behind that answer. So, like, those are the questions I like to ask, and of course, it's like an infinite circular loop. But oh yeah, that reminds me. Thank you, USA Gamer, because that reminds me. I was supposed to, I didn't share this out anywhere. I'm going to share this out real quick. And then I was supposed to go through some of the questions that I didn't finish answering last week because the chat just got overwhelming, which I love it. I appreciate all of it. But yeah, I did want to get to some of these questions. A couple of these are from some of the regular followers who, I appreciate all their feedback and how much love they show to the videos, and I wanted to address their questions because I didn't get to them last week. Oh, it almost Okay, so this live session on Facebook right now is set to private. How can I change that? Can I change that while we're live? Yes, I can. Okay, I'm going to make that public. I'm going to share this to the Dreamkeeper Nation page. Sister, you said... Oh, I didn't mean to pin that. What did I do? Oh, sister, you said, how can I watch live on YouTube? But I think you must have said that on YouTube. Or is Restream showing comments from Facebook too? That's weird. Oh, yeah, it is. Oh, yeah, Restream is showing Facebook comments now too. And YouTube comments. Okay. USA Gamer, you said, I got a question. I had a near-death experience, and the most interesting thing is every near-death experience person I met said they saw a bright light. I'm always curious about what is the light. My theory is life cycles over. That's beautiful. Um, oh, you said you already figured it out. You know what? I don't think it's showing me my comments in real time. I don't know. USA Gamer, yeah. We actually over a year ago, I did a pretty deep dive on near death experiences and all the accounts that I could find, and I did my best to find commonalities between them. Sister, you said I'm watching you on YouTube on my TV right now. I'm watching you on Facebook with my phone. Thank you. That's beautiful. That works. That's perfect. Yeah, USA Gamer. Yeah, there is a lot of common themes that are shared between near death experiences. One of them is a bright light. There's a few different explanations for that. One of them is a neurological explanation, and another is a cultural, subconscious explanation. And I feel like it could be both, or any amount of one more than the other, maybe. But one easy, simple explanation for the bright white light is that this is something that we've conditioned ourselves over lots of years to almost expect, to the point where it's become imprinted in our subconscious mind because of some of the common references to bright lights that people associate with different religions, more not just Christianity either. And this kind of gets back to what I was talking about before, how God or the Holy Spirit is actually air, and it's what's around us. Um, Obviously, most of us are pretty well aware, and it's widely accepted and understood through historical academics that Jesus and lots of other gods were based on the sun. These are anthropomorphized myths surrounding the cycles and the nature of the sun in the sky, including Jesus. And that's not something I even have time to get into today. There's a bunch of great videos about it. I would recommend Myth Vision Podcast or Gnostic Informant have some really good scholarly videos. Also, the YouTube channel Esoterica. There's a bunch of great informational videos about this. So, but yeah, a lot of the myths surrounding Jesus Christ and Ra, the sun god, and a lot of other things. These are anthropomorphized myths about the sun in the sky. So that is where the concept of the bright light comes from, and this could have been just through being shared culturally throughout mythology for literally thousands of years. This could be a subconscious presupposition that we hold on to, especially in our culture, in our modern day culture here. Decor, what up? What up? You said DK. Who is that? Is that Ryan? What up, man? If that's you. If it's not, I'm sorry. I get so confused with all these names. But what's good? If it is you, Ryan, yo, I'm gonna be inviting you over. It's nice out now. I can fire up the grill. Yeah, man, we gotta chill. And I definitely got to get this computer working so I could start getting these live streams going the way I need. And I got to get Johnny over here because I want to interview him about AI. He's got a lot he's trying to say. So, oh yeah, USA Gamer. So yeah, so that's one. And I'm not just making this up off the top of my head. These are hypotheses that have been formed from a lot of people that are a lot smarter than me. But just looking into this, these are some of the things that I've come across. The bright light that people experience during near death experiences. And I must say with you, what did you say? You said you believe that life is a cycle or something like that? Yeah, the comments are not in order. It's all messed up. Uh yeah, what up, Ryan? All right, I'm definitely going to be hitting you up, man. Yeah, USA Gamer, you said something about like what the universe is a cycle or something along those lines, and I agree 100%, I must say, and I think it's pretty easy to make a really strong argument for that. But besides that, yeah, the bright light could also be like a neurological response. And there, I don't, I have it in my notes somewhere. Maybe I'll even be able to find it, but I don't know. It might be a waste of time even looking right now. But you could look into this yourself because you said you think the light is the hospital room. Very likely could be, but a lot of people do experience that bright white light when they're not in the hospital room. Uh, also, it's important to note that some people who have other unique perspectives on the afterlife don't experience the bright white light. So it's not a completely universal thing. I wanted to make that argument, honestly. I really wanted to make a strong argument that it's a completely universal experience with near death experiences, that this bright light, and it is quite common, but it's not necessarily universal. Some people enter complete blackness. Some people feel like they're in a dark tunnel with no lights. There's uh, I did a deep dive on it and I have notes on it, but that was a few years ago. The quality of those videos was a lot worse. They're a lot more fuzzy and the audio was horrible, and I've gotten a bit better with the videos since then. So I'm gonna do a recorded deep dive on near death experiences. I've been adding more notes to my notes section about that. So definitely USA Gamer, if you're interested, man, I promise if you stay tuned into my channel or check me out again in the future in probably just a few weeks, I will have that video up about near death experiences because there's a lot to talk about with that. And it does go along with dreams too, because people experience certain dreams when they're getting closer to death. It's a whole nother thing. But the neurological explanation is just that when you go into that near death experience, You said I have both met other spirits and they communicated through telekinesis, you mean? Uh yeah, that's telepathy. I believe that would be telepathy. Telekinesis is moving physical objects with your mind. Uh kinetic is the energy of motion. So telekinesis, telekinetic, that would be moving things with the mind. They communicated through telepathy. I get it. I get it, and that's also a very common experience. And who? I'm curious. Who were those spirits, and what were they? Were they spirits that you were already familiar with? I'm curious. I wonder. But because it's also very widely recognized. Yeah, telepathic. Yeah, 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 yeah. I got you. No, I get you. Uh, it's also very widely understood that people, depending on their own preconceptions, will experience what they know and what they believe, and generally will experience what they expect the most. So that and for a long time I was really deep into occultic, esoteric. Oh, you said they were family members. Okay, yes, that's another very, very common theme. We see loved ones when we enter those states. And again, that's like when people are nearing the end of their lives, they start to dream more about family members that passed away. I'm assuming the family members you saw were family members that had passed away. I could be wrong about that. Maybe they weren't. But yeah, that seems to be really common. But the other explanation for the bright light, besides the hospital room or the subconscious uh, predisposition of bright lights and this God and this light being centered around the sun and things like that, and that just being a very common theme for the one God or the afterlife, heaven with its bright lights, things like that could just be implanted in our subconscious mind. But besides that, USA Gamer, I don't see anything in that comment. But besides that, I believe it was a video I saw from Andrew Huberman. He has his YouTube channel, the Huberman Lab, and he really gets deep into the neurochemical explanations for these things. And there there are some hypotheses that center around the concept of when you start to die, your brain gets cut off from its of oxygen, and as a last hope, a last desperate attempt as a survival mechanism, the electrical activity in your brain gets boosted and picks up. And this, I mean, this definitely does happen. The thing is, you could argue that this is a result of whatever else you were experiencing. Like maybe you went into some sort of heaven or some sort of alternate dimension or afterlife type of state, and that's why your brain was reacting that way. Or you could say that you experienced that bright light and that other dimension or that other state because of the brain activity. Now, this is this is the ultimate causal question that basically everything comes back to. You actually get a choice to come back or not. Yes, yes, that's also very, very common. uh and since the main study of my channel here is about dreams, um what people are experiencing in that state could likely be akin to dreams. They are, whether it's another realm of reality or not, it's something that you're experiencing within your mind, or outside of this physical realm. So yeah, you actually get the choice to come back or not. Maybe you actually do. Or another explanation. And I've interviewed people actually. If you go back on my channel, I actually interviewed someone about. I've interviewed two people actually about their near death experiences. And what's fascinating about the human mind is its ability to weave narratives and to fill in gaps in a comprehensive way, or in a way to make things more comprehensive. Um, and again, and I'm not saying that this is always the case, but I'm just saying this is something that should be strongly considered. A lot of times when people tell me they had these near death experiences, and this is actually has been tested on small scales, there's never been any large scale tests, but there's a lot of anecdotal stories about this, where people will say they had this near death experience and they heard everything that the doctor was talking about, and specific things in the conversation that they wouldn't possibly be able to recall if they weren't like floating above their body listening to these doctors. And of course, uh, like they would say that this person was brain dead at that point, and there was no brain activity, and they couldn't have been taking in any information. So how could they possibly remember those things? That is not. You said there's something interesting as well as you get shown of human future events or your own life events that are important. Absolutely, and that's your life flashing before your eyes, kind of, or could be related to that. Yeah. Uh, yeah, absolutely. And these are also things that happen during deep meditative states. If someone enters a hallucinogenic state, even just through different breathing exercises. For a long time, I was really fascinated with transcendental meditation, and I do feel like you can have similar, if not the same, experiences through practicing some of these things. I could be wrong, but it does seem that there's a lot of commonality between what people experience during transcendental meditation and near death experiences too. So, I guess the biggest question would be like, is that real? How much of it is just a fabricated illusion, the equivalent of a mirage, a mental mirage? Um, or do all mental mirages, or do all visions in our imagination exist in some other realm or dimension of reality? I'm talking about out of body experiences. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. I'm conflating the two. Absolutely, because the two usually go hand in hand. And then that also brings in astral projection. And yeah, yeah, absolutely. But you don't need to have an out of body experience to have a near death experience. You're right. You're right. That's very true. But yeah, again, in these transcendental meditative states, a lot of times that is, and I feel like I've been there. You're in the ultimate white light, and I felt like I've had no physical body, and this is very common when people practice these things. Feeling one, or feeling like you've entered the infinite unity, and things like that, feeling the ultimate love. uh there's even been times where I've gotten so deep in these states where I've nearly forgotten who I was, and had no recollection of my life in this dimension, in this point in time at least. But yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just flooding myself with thoughts here, just because there's just so much to say about it, and there's so many questions to ask. And I think there's so many things are related in so many direct ways when it comes to these ideas. But yeah, so your near death experience, could that be a result of your brain just being cut off from oxygen? It felt like a dream. last 2 minutes or 10 minutes, but I gained information somehow. Yeah, that I do absolutely believe that's possible. Whether we tap into some collective consciousness, Carl Jung's collective unconscious, or some sort of celestial wireless, it's very likely that there's information in the dark matter or the dark energy around us, and that we can somehow access that. That's a lot of what Tesla talked about. And in the video that I have dropping tomorrow night on the ancient and modern history of dreams, I do go through a bunch of different people throughout history who claim to have accessed information from their dreams. I mean, there's endless stories about that. And it gets to the point where you can't just say that these things are imaginary and they're just fantasy. There has to be some sort of merit to it. Even, and I'm always also I just play devil's advocate with myself back and forth all day. But even if there's even if the information that we think we gained is just our subconscious finding a novel way to build these connections from information that we already contain, and even if it's not accessing some sort of external or transcendent information, it's still powerful. Even if, like, I'm talking about for the most reductionist, materialistic perspective, the most materialist atheist person who doesn't believe in anything that's otherworldly in any type of way, which is ridiculous. But if that's all you believe and you only believe that dreams are a result of these synapses firing off, which is basically the activation synthesis hypothesis, that's called. Even if that's all you believe, people have come up with new answers to questions and novelty designs and things like that in their dreams, unquestionably. Unless you want to say that all of these hundreds or potentially thousands of people were all lying, or every single one of them was a very specific and unlikely coincidence, you have to admit that dreams can potentially provide us with information. And, I mean, just for example, August Kekule, who discovered the chemical structure of the benzene ring was a closed circuit. This is something, I mean, there's endless ones. Salvador Dali was inspired by dreams. Mary Shelley, who wrote Frankenstein, said that she dreamed the key scenes from Frankenstein in her dreams. Tests have been done on students that are given information. They'll be given information at the beginning of the day, and not just students, but even just generally test subjects. This has been redone so many times. People are given information at the beginning of the day, and then they're tested on it later on that day, and they take however they perform on those tests, they'll give a separate group of people information at the end of the day, let them sleep on it basically, and then they'll test them the next morning. Every test subject who was given the information at the end of the day and then tested the next morning after they slept with that information, they always perform better than the people that are given the information at the beginning of the day. They're given an equal amount of time, and then they're tested at the end of the day, but they just don't sleep in between. So one of the main hypotheses that I think is highly likely, and none of the hypotheses are mutually exclusive, but one of the reasons why we dream is it's called the memory consolidation hypothesis, saying that dreams help us consolidate memories. There's a bunch of different hypotheses on why we dream, and that's just one of them. But uh, you said, so one thing religion doesn't talk about is we have a higher self. And if you're aware, then you're allowed certain information. It depends what you believe. Yeah, I do think that some religions do talk about that, especially if you get more into like Taoism and Buddhism and things like that. But of course, if you're referring to like classic Christianity, then, or even like Judaism, yeah. Now there are. I'm not sure if you're familiar with, and I'm definitely no expert on the subject, but that's pretty much what the concept of Gnosticism is about, or Gnostic Christianity and the Gnostic Gospels. I believe that's basically what that idea focuses on. As above, macro, as above, so below, macro, micro. Yeah, Cliff, exactly. That's Hermeticism, and some ancient biblical wisdom right there too, as well. But but yeah, there are some. Keep in mind, I believe, and anyone could correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I believe if you really break it down, there's like more than 30,000 different denominations of Christianity alone. And none of them agree with each other. They all contradict each other, and they all think that the other one's wrong. So, but people have found ways to integrate this concept of higher self and higher intelligence. And, I think that's where the idea of Gnosticism comes from. The word Gnostic literally means knowledge in ancient Greek. And that was focused on, now there's Gnostic Christianity, and then there's Gnosticism itself, which just focuses on knowledge. Gnostic Christianity kind of focuses on self knowledge, and it says that basically the way to be saved, or the way to eternal life or whatever, it's not to repent for your sins, it's not to accept Christ as the true savior. This Gnosticism says that you have to achieve a certain level of knowledge to reach that transcendence, or that eternal life, or things like that. So, and that's what most of the different denominations have. That's what most of them can't come to common ground on, is what it takes to actually reach transcendence, or to get into heaven, or however you want to look at it. You said it's like telephone. Absolutely. Absolutely. The Bible is a classic version of ancient allegorical and then textual telephone. Absolutely, undeniably. And you could go through different translations throughout history, and any historian who really studies it understands that you have to achieve a certain awareness, actually. Sure. And that awareness generally would come through knowledge, would it not? I think that's what Gnosticism focuses on. And then if you get more into Taoism, it's not about the knowledge, it's more about just the absence of everything, or the unity of all, because with ultimate unity there is no division, and therefore there is nothing. Everything, in that sense, everything is the same as nothing. When you have everything, you cannot have anything. So I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but that is basically the concept behind Taoism. uh Again, there's different branches of Taoism too, and there's different branches of Buddhism too. So I'm generally speaking about like the fundamental sense of Taoism. There's branches of Buddhism that actually think Buddhist, or Buddha, was a version of Christ, and they actually do worship God as the Buddha. But Buddhism in generally doesn't worship any God. That's kind of the point of it. But yeah, you have to achieve a certain awareness. I can understand that, and I can accept that, and I could appreciate that. I agree. Um, yeah, just so much to say about that. I didn't even get into any of the questions from last week, because this is what I do. I get going on these rants. Uh, Yeah, so you said you have to achieve a certain awareness. Is that awareness, does that ultimately come from within? Or does that awareness come from input from the external universe or transcendent, some sort of transcendent higher power? Or is the ultimate awareness about the unity of both from within to without? I think that that would make the most sense. And then that kind of brings in the idea of like panpsychism, and ideas like that. Absolutely fascinating to me. So I didn't get into any of the questions from last week. Maybe I could do that now. I haven't checked Facebook. Okay, we're good. Sins don't mean anything. It's trying to better yourself over time. I mean, I agree. I think, like, in a way, you could say that sins might mean something, but definitely not like what the Bible says. That's definitely, absolutely a bunch of nonsense. But it's trying to better yourself over time. I agree, and I believe that's where our sense of morality comes from. Honestly, it's more of a product of these living in an evolved, integrated society, and trying to better yourself over time. That's kind of where Hinduism comes into play, and the concept of samsara, and it's like trying to reach dharma, which is like the ultimate form of infinite unified existence. That would be dharma. And we keep getting reincarnated until we were able to make it far enough along this path. Some people can do it in just a few lifetimes. Some amazing beings like Buddha were able to do it in one lifetime. Some people, it takes hundreds, thousands, or millions of different lifetimes and reincarnations before they're able to reach the ultimate dharma. And I believe the path to this dharma is called samsara. And that's like the different incarnations that we have. I'm not saying that's like all completely, literally 100% true, but the concept of it is interesting, and it kind of goes along with trying to better yourself over time. I do think there's something to that, and that's why I always appreciated Hinduism, and still to this day, I enjoy the philosophies of Hinduism more than Christianity in general, especially like creedal Christianity. Uh, yeah, I do think sins can mean something, but definitely not like what the Bible says. So I don't remember exactly what the last question was that I addressed last week. So I don't want to repeat any. I probably should have checked that before I did this. Oh, you said that's completely up to you according to who is watching you. You're learning new lessons if you need to until your soul says, "I'm done." Sure, sure. I mean, I could totally see that too. I can't argue with that. That's, yeah, it's completely up to you. Yeah, and I mean, if you want to look at it in the sense that, especially if you want to look at it in the sense that we're creating this reality from some sort of higher awareness, even if that awareness is just ourself, if that's our soul or our essence or our ultimate being, uh, making these choices, sure, up to you according to who is watching you. Yeah, exactly. And based on what you believe, that might dictate your ultimate experience, potentially. Can't disagree with you. You're learning new lessons if you need to until your soul says, "I'm done." Yeah, that's basically what the most fundamental forms of Hinduism say. That's basically what samsara is, honestly. And it's visually depicted through those mandalas that you see, and also like the labyrinth, the concept of a labyrinth, of going through all of these different twists and turns. And of course, the difference between like a labyrinth and a maze is that eventually you're going to get to where you're going in the labyrinth, and you can only really go one way. But it seems confusing and impossible at times, of course. But yeah, you're learning new lessons if you need to until your soul says I'm done. I think that's entirely possible. I mean, and I think that's a fair philosophy to hold on to. And there's it's just, there's no real solid evidence for any of this. So a lot of it is just our speculation and our interpretation. But yeah, I think you can make a strong argument for that, for exactly what you're saying. Yo, USA Gamer, do I know you? Where'd you come from? Because you got a lot of great insights, and I appreciate it. Uh, I appreciate all this great input for tonight. So, uh, yeah, I don't know how long I've been up here, or how much longer I want to go. My girl should probably be home pretty soon. I'm gonna light up one more time. And then maybe I'll call it a night soon. Honestly, I'm looking. I still have. There's so many questions here. I'm gonna have to make that its own separate session. But some of these are great. These were questions I've been meaning to answer for people that I've been wanting to address, and some of the more interesting ones. But I mean, USA Gamer, you've given me enough awesome questions and input tonight. Well, one person over on TikTok, I gotta read this one because this one is fascinating, and I think it's a interesting concept. It was from Ether Mapper, which makes sense, over on TikTok. This person said, if the landscapes and environments in our recurring dreams have consistent geography, could we collectively map this dream realm and find shared landmarks or territories visited by multiple dreamers? I think that's an awesome question, and that's a great idea. My initial response, just uh, without giving it too much thought off the bat, I would have to say, like, no. The answer is just no. Because the universe is infinite. I would think these dimensions are infinite. These realms are potentially infinite. But if there is a way to do that, to find common shared landmarks, this would be found through, when we're awake, we have to have we have to be more integrated as a society to be able to even share this information with each other reliably. And then more the awareness of archetypes, and potentially even like a recategorization of some of these archetypes, like the Jungian archetypes, the common themes that we see in dreams across cultures. We could probably, because our culture has evolved so much, we could probably use an update and just a refresher on some of that, which is part of my goal in life, actually, and part of my reason for making these videos, is to just bring awareness and understanding back to these archetypes and explore some some more that we may have formed over time or may have evolved over time. USA Gamer, you said I'm just very spiritual person. I've been alone most of my life. I just want to inspire others to be positive to others. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Me too. That's what it's all about, right? It's all about positivity. That's the only thing that makes all of this worth it in the end. But of course, you can't have light without dark, can't have up without down. I just feel like as humans in this modern society, in this dimension of this material world, we have we've been exposed to enough. And yeah, we could definitely use a strong counterbalance of positivity. The world is getting better, and I have faith in humanity, and I do see that happening more and more every day. And life is what you make it, to a certain extent, depending on what you believe. But yeah, I don't know, I got too many questions and comments. I might not get into all of them. It's been almost an hour and a half now up here. USA Gamer, I would definitely appreciate it if you would subscribe, or at least find me on Facebook or TikTok also. And if you want, I'll be happy to send you a copy of that ebook. If you just email me at dkdreamkeeper1@gmail.com, because you got a lot of good insights on some of this stuff. I would definitely love your feedback on some of these future videos, because a lot of this stuff these are things I'm going to be doing deep dives on, and I'll have lots of different sources, and I'll definitely do my best to keep the information as concise and elaborate at the same time as possible. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the sub. Beautiful. So I definitely, yeah, you'll be seeing more of this in the future. And I would love, once I drop that video on near death experiences and dreams that people experience when they're approaching death, I think I'm gonna lump that all into one video. It'll probably be a pretty long video, but I would definitely be interested to get some of your feedback on that. And we could definitely chop it up more about on some of that in the future. Hopefully I could stay more focused, because I just jump around in my brain. Honestly, I argue, I debate with myself in my head all the time, but yeah, definitely appreciate all your feedback and all your input there. And I think I'm going to call it a night, because I want to make sure I have the dishes done before my girl gets home, and I'd like to give her a call and see when she's going to be on her way. And then I'm gonna be putting out that ebook, and I'll be making that available. Like I said, I just have to put some of the sources at the end there. Other than that, I'm done with it. So yeah, anyone interested, email me the word book or the word dream at dkdreamkeeper1@gmail.com. Thank you, USA Gamer. I appreciate it. Cliff, sister, dad, if you're still awake. Uh, Everybody else, relevant tourist, definitely appreciate you always. And I'm gonna call it a night. It's kind of late, and of course, there's always so much more to do. So, uh, you know what? There was more. There's always more to say. So maybe I'll hop up here next weekend. If not, then definitely the following weekend. I might be busy next weekend. Like I said, I can't guarantee these every week, but I'm gonna do my best. And once I get those courses available for people, we'll definitely have like live one-on-one sessions, or live like group chats and stuff that I'll be able to do more consistently. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. Good night, Dad. Good night. Peace and love, people. I wish you all the absolute best, and keep dreaming.